What's up guys, it's DratedHots here, and today I'm going to show you guys how to throw a game, or maybe in some cases, how to prevent it from happening. This is a game played in a recent tournament versus some notable high-level GM players, and as you can see in the game, we just took mid-keep. We're around a full 2-level advantage, and we're feeling pretty confident at this point. So we want to analyze our options about how we want to start going about ending the game. So one of these options is we can start by applying pressure on the map. We can contest their Merc camp. It'll start by pushing mid wave out. We can take bot camp. It'll start pushing bot wave out. Now the nice thing about this bot camp here is that it's furthest away from the boss. So, and just bot lane in particular. So as we're taking bot camp, it'll push in to this keep 100% without any contest. So the enemy team's going to be forced to rotate, or unless they want to lose their keep. Now what's nice about this is that makes it a lot easier to boss, because as you can see, the enemy team has no global, and so they're always going to be late to rotation if they have to take this camp out, and then it looks like kind of a free boss. Now another option that we could farm for gems. It's about 3 gems per wave, and so it'll take a couple waves. You know, top mid bot, you get 9 gems per wave. It'll take a couple waves. We have 31 out of 65 right now. It'll probably be done before they hit 20, but it's a little bit of a slower option. Another option that we have is we could try to make picks around the map and just press our level 20 advantage, maybe hide in some of these brushes right here, maybe over here, and just try to get a pick around the map. Another option that we have is we could start sieging. Now we could take this bot camp and we could start pushing with it and try to maybe get bot keep. The reason I don't like this option is because we have double melee, and melee is Greymane as well, because he's not that great at sieging, especially into someone like KT Sylve. So we didn't feel like sieging was the correct option. And the final option that we have is boss. Now, another thing that's always good to keep in mind in a game is how the enemy team can win the game. Now, in this game, the enemy team has about half their gems needed to turn in, so we're in no real trouble, honestly, right now. They have no forts down around the map, and they're not going to get enough gems for a while to be able to turn in, even if we would let them for free. So the enemy team, all they're looking to do right now is probably just farm up for 20, farm some gems, and hope they can catch us throwing, honestly, because we're very far ahead at this point. Now, I said the enemy team had not taken a single fort, and so one lost team fight probably won't end the game, right? Wrong. Because of this hero right here, Sylvanas. Now, what she's going to allow you to do is she's going to allow you to make comebacks from almost nothing. If we're all wiped at one point and we all have 50 death timers, I mean, you know, it's kind of late in this game. 50-second death timers, that could be this fort, you know, this keep, maybe even core if we're close enough. So the first mistake that we make in this game is that we make it way too obvious that we're heading the boss. What's the rush? We have no pressure on the map right now, you know, no bot wave, no mid wave, and so the enemy team doesn't have to give up much to contest boss because they have nothing to lose. You should always be trying to put your enemy team in situations where if they decide to, you know, contest the boss, then they're going to have to give up something in particular, which is why in this game I wish we had taken this siege camp. Wait until we see someone bottom and then start boss. I think that was the correct call in this game, and it did not happen. So we just try to straight boss it. And one thing that you should develop as a team coordination is just to trust the call. Now, if a call is made and you all agree, you should 100% all go for it. And so in this case, we all go straight for the boss. And here I'm going to analyze the small micro mistakes that were made that could have been avoided. So, you know, we start the boss, we're just DPSing it. ETC gets a nice 5-man passive stacking, and honestly, we destroy this boss. Now, as you just saw there, that was the first mistake made. As Greymane, you're always going to want to stay in Worgen form just because it does a lot more damage. I mean, you have Q, and just your autos in general are just going to do a lot more damage in Worgen form. And he also gets blinded there. So blind on 3 targets. Now, this is pretty big because we're trying to DPS this boss as fast as possible. So maybe if 3's 3 heroes were over here in this case, it's kind of tough because this tornado is kind of zoning them off from getting over here a little bit. But Greymane could have easily been over here or over here as well. And same with Rhaegar. Lunar's in a fine position though. She's just chilling there. And so ETC should also be standing closer to the boss in this point. Like, there's no reason that Greymane should ever be taking boss aggro or Rhaegar. So ETC should be standing closer to the boss, soaking up all that aggro. And what you're going to see is how close this becomes. Johanna just D's onto the point. I mean, look at this health bar and look at Johanna marching onto the point. It's so close at this point. If Greymane had just stayed in Worgen form, I mean, look at when it dies. It dies right now, and Johanna's on the way. This is like a 0.25 second difference. I mean, this is the difference between, honestly, 2 Worgen autos and just regular Greymane autos. Now, ETC decides to zone off the backline here, which, as you're going to see, is not the greatest idea. And what happens here, it develops into a perfect storm. A perfect D-shield onto Sonya to try to get on the point. I mean, look at how close this is. It's ridiculous. Perfect D-shield by Sonya onto the point, and just a nasty arrow here. And we're just trapped at this point. And where's our ETC? Not really doing much. If he had been closer to the team at this point, instead of off by himself, just zoning off KT, maybe he could have moshed, saved Rhaegar here, and just watch what happens. It just develops into a perfect storm. Great shrink ray, but at this point, it's just too little too late. The perfect storm. Just a very, very heartbreaking defeat. We're all super sad, but what's important to understand is there's always things that can be taken away from a loss, especially one as heartbreaking as this. You know, if we had just taken this camp, waited till someone rotated bot, little things like Greymane Ing out in Worgen form, getting a 3-man blind onto us instead of standing in this corner. A perfect arrow by Sylvanas, cutting off really all the options. Developed into the perfect storm of how to throw a game. Thanks, guys. Hope you all enjoy.